Hi everyone, Big Mike here. It's time for another tutorial. This time we're doing a tutorial for Big Eyes Small Mouth Revised 2nd Edition, which was the game we played for Year 5 when we did our Attack on Titan game. Big Eyes Small Mouth has a relatively simple system, and in fact uses the tri-stat system, where basically you have 3 core statistics: body, mind, and soul. And from those 3 statistics are derived all your other character values, such as hit points, energy points, attack combat value, and defense combat value. I'll explain the attack and defense combat values in a second. Players roll 2 6-sided dice to determine all outcomes, well, most outcomes in Big Eyes Small Mouth. Your goal is to roll equal to or less than your target stat, body, mind, soul. So let's say you want to perform a physical feat of some kind, you'd have to roll 2d6 underneath your body stat to succeed. The lower you get, the better. 2s are critical successes and 12s are critical failures. The stats themselves are fairly self-explanatory. Body is for all physical checks, mind is for mental checks, and soul is for checks involving willpower or moments of internal fortitude or even luck, depending on the circumstance. These values are determined at character creation, when the GM decides how many points each player is going to have to spend on those 3 stats. Now, just because you have a lot of points to spend in those stats doesn't mean you should just load them in there, because there's another thing in the system called attributes. Attributes are additional powers and abilities that you can have that also cost character points, and they cost so many per level depending on which attribute it is, that give you boosts in game. These are things from extra hit points to the ability to fly, the ability to regenerate, the ability to summon fire. It all depends. And if an ability doesn't exist, or an attribute that is, doesn't exist, you actually can make it in-game with your GM's concession. Of course, the GM can restrict attributes that otherwise wouldn't work for the particular game setting that they're trying to make. Now, because these attributes can actually get kind of expensive, to offset that, players can buy defects as well, which give you additional attribute points. And these are defects that range from being mute to having involuntary transformations in your body to being cursed with some ancient horrible evil. There's a wide range, and yes, you can make your own custom defects within the game as well, again with your GM's consent. In addition, this game also has skills. Players get 20 skill points at the start of character creation to spend on skills however they see fit. And of course, there are attributes and defects that can reduce or increase this number. Each skill has a different cost depending on, one, what skill it is and what setting you're in, depending on what the DM decides. Certain skills will cost more in one setting as opposed to another. Each time you buy a rank in a skill, it's -1 to the applicable dice roll. So let's say you have a skill in general acrobatics or athletics or what have you. That's -1 on any dice roll you have under the appropriate situation, whenever that would apply. Now, in combat, rather than use your body, mind, or soul stat, you use your attack and defense combat values. It works really simply. When you roll initiative, you roll 1d6, add your attack combat value, that determines the initiative order. When you're making an attack, you roll, once again, 2d6 under your attack combat value to see if you hit. Your opponent, or whoever's defending, rolls 2d6 under the defense combat value to see if they block the hit or avoid or whatever. If they fail and you succeeded, you hit them and you deal damage to their HP. That damage is determined at base by your attack combat value, whatever weapons you have, and yes, you have attributes that can straight up boost your damage that you're doing at all times. If you get 2 during an attack, you get a critical success. What that means is you roll a d6, and that multiplies the amount of damage you'll do from anywhere from ×2 to a complete kill, depending on how high the d6 is rolled. And that's pretty much it. There's modifiers and things like that you can use to improve your rolls in different situations, but those are fairly conditional and they're listed in the book itself. Apart from that, it's a relatively simple, open-ended system that allows you, the player, to pretty much create, or game master, to create whatever you want in the context of what you want to make. Hope you found this very helpful, and we'll see you next time.